I've been watching YouTube since 2005. To be honest, I don't even remember what it used to look like, but I remember that people weren't expecting to make a living on it. It was just one of those things people were trying out. The big channels of those days inspired dozens to make amateur videos, and as the platform evolved over the years, financial opportunities also began to present themselves. The luckiest of the bunch realized that they could do this full time, and haven't looked back as a result. In my case, I'm not expecting anything from this. Going back to my teens, I always wanted to make videos myself and post them on YouTube, but the idea of it was more enticing than the action required to do so, so as a result I never did it. I didn't know how to do it at the time, and I couldn't wrap my head around it either, but for the past 2 years, that same desire returned, and this time I was more switched on, and had a better idea on how to use software and learn it if I didn't know how. Even now that I've been making content for the past 3 months, I still don't really know all the bells and whistles of content creation. In the beginning, I merely experimented with ideas I had in my head. I downloaded OBS and DaVinci Resolve, got started on recording Gary's Mod and GTA 5 clips in order to make machinimas of sorts, or short films as I called them. The name that I came up with was at a time when I was exploring a lot of Lovecraftian and horror artwork. The idea of broken portals was to bring to life stories in worlds that shouldn't exist, or present something familiar in a short film template, but twist it into something horribly wrong. But as I continued to learn the craft of content creation, I had other ideas pop up. I decided that I wanted to get more confident at recording with my voice and downloaded Audacity, since it was the main barrier that held me back for a long time, which is normal since a lot of people lose their confidence once they hear how they actually sound. And so to get the best practice, I started writing up scripts based on things that I enjoyed like gaming and movies, and since I knew a lot about them, I figured it was the best place to start. Naturally, this took me off course with my original intention for the channel, but in hindsight, I'm glad that I stuck with trying to be more confident in my voice, and so far, it's been a journey in these past 3 months. The hardest thing though that I have experienced is not the video making process, or the YouTube algorithm or anything like that, but finding an identity. A dedicated purpose that the channel can revolve around. Eventually you have to find a niche, something that you can base it around. There are many channels out there that stick to one subject, or even one piece of media so to speak. The idea of getting big isn't a niche in itself, that's just a desire, and in order to help myself keep going, I had to dismiss those ambitions, and focus more on getting better with both hearing my voice and video making. Over time I went through countless logos and banners, trying to find something that will stick. And only just until recently, I think I may have finally found my niche. I've been gaming more or less a year after I was born, growing up with the N64 and the PS1. Over time, me and my brother both got the same console since I had an aversion to sharing, like the PS2 and the Xbox. First-person shooters are my favorite genre of gaming, but ironically, I started off with racing games. Stuff like Mario Kart 64, Diddy Kong Racing, and Need for Speed Underground were my go-to games when things went south. My brother, on the other hand, went for Halo Combat Evolved, which was the go-to FPS in the 2000s, at least until Call of Duty 4 came around. I had loved Halo and still do. I would constantly play the new Mabasa levels in Halo 2, sniping jackals with the beam rifle. I still played racing games here and there over the years, but I moved on to a whole number of other titles like Team Fortress 2, StarCraft, League of Legends, and Call of Duty. But I couldn't quite identify at that point anymore at what my favorite genre was. I just enjoyed gaming in general, and would play anything. Having the time to game would genuinely make me happy. It wasn't really until I started playing games like CSGO and Valorant, Doom 2016 and Eternal that I realized that first-person shooters really were my favorite genre, the genre that I would always come back to no matter what mood I was in. As my videos became more geared towards shooters, it felt more like this was the direction I really wanted for this channel. Through experience in content making, you eventually find yourself. That is, if your primary goal isn't to make money through content you don't believe in, which a lot of channels do, making content based on ambition rather than passion. And that's fine. As far as I know, there's no written book in regards to having a genuine reason to make a channel. You can do this for fun, or try to grow it into a source of revenue. It's really up to you. But finding an identity is something you'll eventually have to do later on in life, whether you do it on here, or out in the world. How do you find it? Well, you've got to try it if your mind is racing towards it, whatever it might be that's going on in your head. Speaking of which, no one will ever know what's going on in there. and no one will ever be able to tell you what you actually want to do. I started this whole channel and made the content I made because it was exactly what I wanted to do at the time, and I hope you find yours too. Good luck. Thank you for watching.